Welcome to Planning with Purpose. I am Didine Erskine, CFP. As a new year begins, there's always a familiar energy in the air. People feel motivated, hopeful, sometimes even a little nicer, sometimes a little overwhelmed. We're encouraged to reset everything at once. Our health, our routines, our finances, our expectations for ourselves. But meaningful financial progress rarely comes from dramatic overhauls. It tends to come from intention. Today's episode isn't about predictions, market outlooks, or promises. It's about how to begin the year with financial intention in a way that feels grounded, realistic, and aligns with your life. Over the years, working with families at different stages, I've noticed something interesting. The people who feel the most confident about their finances are not necessarily the ones with the highest income or the most complex portfolios. They're the ones who start with clarity. They don't rush decisions. They don't react quickly to noise. They build from a strong foundation. So today, I want to walk through 5 principles that many financially intentional families revisit at the start of each year. These are not rules. They're not checklists. They're lenses. The first step towards intention is clarity. That means understanding your full financial picture, not just account balances or what an app tells you on a dashboard. It includes cash flow, assets, liabilities, and how all of those pieces interact. Many people avoid this step because it feels uncomfortable, but awareness doesn't create problems. It reveals them. When you understand where money is coming from and where it's going, decisions become more thoughtful. You're no longer guessing or relying on assumptions. Clarity creates choice, and choice is the foundation of intentional planning. The second principle is visibility. There are countless tools that track spending automatically. But what matters most is not the technology, it's the insight. When spending is visible, patterns emerge. You start to see where money supports your values and where it quietly drifts away from them. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Often, a simple visual can shift perspective. A chart or a summary can reveal habits that weren't obvious before. And when behavior becomes visible, it becomes easier to adjust intentionally. Liquidity is often overlooked in financial conversations. Emergency reserves don't feel exciting. They don't generate headlines, but they serve an important role. Liquidity provides flexibility. It creates breathing room when life doesn't follow a plan, which it rarely does. Having adequate reserves doesn't eliminate stress, but it can reduce the unnecessary pressure. It allows decisions to be made thoughtfully rather than urgently. In that sense, liquidity is not just a financial tool, it's a form of self-care. One of the most powerful principles in financial planning is consistency. Small, regular actions often matter more than dramatic changes. An incremental increase, a steady contribution, a habit that's maintained over time. These choices tend to feel manageable day to day, yet they can compound meaningfully over longer periods. Perfection isn't required. Consistency is. And consistency is often easier when expectations are realistic and aligned with your actual life. The final principle is alignment. Investing works best when it reflects your goals, your timeline, and your comfort for uncertainty. It's easy to get distracted by short-term narratives or performance comparisons, but financial decisions are deeply personal. What matters is whether your strategy supports the life you're building. When investments align with purpose, they're easier to stay committed to during periods of uncertainty. And commitment, over time, tends to matter more than reaction. Taken together, these principles form a simple but powerful approach to beginning the year. Clarity, visibility, flexibility, consistency, alignment. None of them promise outcomes. None of them require perfection. They simply create a framework for intentional decision-making. If you're listening to this and thinking, nothing here felt overwhelming, that's intentional. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need a place to start. In the next episode, we'll talk about why financial planning works best as a system, not a series of isolated decisions, and how small choices connect over time. For now, sit with one idea that stood out to you today. That's where intention begins. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Didine Erskine. Remember to plan with purpose and grow with grace. Goodbye.